Let me know when you're ready.
Thank you, Daddy.
All right, I have your blessings.
If making it easy to be an illegal alien isn't enough,
government is another way to say better than you.
In fact, you know how fast a 5-cent hooker goes down.
no sane country would do that.
Cruz and Kasich are in it for a participation trophy.
Oh, no. What you represent to them is freedom.
Hosted by the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash.
Just remember, all hate mail comes to me.
The Southside Mutt Show.
Cheerleader. I don't have the boots for it.
This show contains language that some viewers
Actually,
may
if you
find
want to see it, I'm going to pop into it right now. I'll show you what I've got.
And now on to the show. And welcome to the Southside Mutt Show. I clicked the mute button off and Crash started talking about something we were talking about prior to the show.
I'll show you what I got.
Oh, God, that reminds me of the other night on Twitter. I had the chick turning around telling me I got a small penis. So I told her, yeah, it's more enough to part your lips. And next thing I know, she's blocking me and all pissed off.
We didn't even finish the intro yet. They don't even know who the hell we are.
I'm Jersey Joe. That's Crash, and we're the Jersey Boys. This is Southside Mutt Show. If you're expecting professionalism, you turned into the wrong show. Oh.
We are extremely professional about being extremely unprofessional.
Exactly.
We spend enough time being professionals sometimes.
So, and what we were talking about prior to the show, besides the tumbling garbage can, we both play a game, and it's an online game, and something happened on it today, so he was questioning about it, and I was questioning him. We were questioning each other. We were being politicians.
Mm. Well, on break, we'll take a look at it. But anyway, all right, so what's in the news for tonight?
Oh, what isn't in the news? I mean, it's been a very boring week. Nothing's happened. Nothing at all.
Well, I was reading the article. I mean, everybody's pushing this whole fake news thing, right?
Oh, please.
So Trump's ban, caused
the Muslim ban
to die in Iraq. She ended up dying in Iraq because she wasn't able to come here because of Trump's ban. Unfortunately, she actually passed. And I do feel sorry for the family's loss. I'm not trying to make light of a loss.
No,
but what I don't feel sorry for is a specific member of the family trying to turn it political by falsifying the facts. He says that that she died after the ban, and that was the reason why she wasn't able to get here, and blah blah, and he wasn't with her, and da da da, all the rest of this happy horse shit. Somebody else came forward and said, yeah, she passed away. It was a couple weeks ago.
It was the imam.
It's like, no, she did pass away.
No, but the imam came forward and said, yeah.
It's bullshit.
Shenanigans.
And you know what? Credit to the imam. I
he
give
stood
that
up.
man credit. He's stepping forward. He's telling the freaking truth. You know what? That's the type of men that we need. That's who we need. Not this lying sack of shit that's trying to turn everything freaking political.
And that's...
and honestly, and on the whole ban thing, I don't know if you plan on talking about this or not tonight. I know that we can go into the whole thing about, past presidents have had it. It's, it's actually written in the law that the president can do this at any point at his discretion based on what he feels is right.
U.S. Code 1182.
Discretionary power. This is a discretionary power of the president. This sits with him. But despite all that, despite the fact that Obama did it at one time, despite the fact that all of the presidents have done this at one time, where's all the protesters for the removal of wet foot, dry foot that happened the week before Trump took office? When he eliminated wet foot, dry foot, and you had all these Cubans that were yelling and screaming about their amnesty and them now being stranded. I don't remember a bunch of liberals yelling and screaming about how unfair this is and that we're targeting Cubans. And the ironic thing is that was much more specific than anything that Trump did. I mean, that literally was very, very specific. But I don't remember hearing any outcry. I don't. Not from all these groups. I don't remember it. In any case, I digress.
No, that was one of them that we're going to talk about. This whole, that's part of it, and the whole it's a Muslim ban. No, it isn't.
Nope. They're putting a label on it because it fits their narrative.
Well, someone even asked that, and they're like, "Well, why? Why would they do that?" Well, it's taking people that are simply
sympathetic,
easily persuaded by emotional comments, and turn them against people. Oh, my God, Muslims, we can't go against people in their religion. I mean, it's been ingrained in us as a country. That's something we do not do. So
okay, well, hold on. I'm going to stop you right there. Now, if that's something we do not do, if we do not go against people because of their religion, why were small business owners getting crucified, having their businesses shut down, being fined by the states, having lawsuits filed for discriminatory practices because they were exercising their right to religion as Christians and stating that as a business owner, I do not agree with providing a contraceptive. As a Christian, I do not agree in gay marriage, so I don't agree to take these wedding photographs. I don't agree to I mean, as far as I knew, you can refuse service to anybody for any reason. I mean, it's not 100% carte blanche every time you go into a freaking restaurant. So those people were asserting their religious rights. They were persecuted specifically because they were Christian. Where's all the bleeding hearts for them? They lost their businesses. They lost their livelihoods. Where's all the bleeding hearts for them? Or is this another one of those where you can't be racist against a white guy, you can't be sexist against males, and you can't religiously persecute against a Christian because that, just doesn't happen? Is that what this is?
It's... Yeah, but I love how...
Not to go full retard.
No, but it's supposed to be a Muslim ban, but 87% of the Muslim population and some of the most biggest Muslim countries are exempt from the Muslim ban, and only 13% to have which were pointed out by Obama's administration, It amazes me, and it's got me dumbfounded. This whole week has me almost speechless, the stupidity coming out of the left. You have Senator Kaine saying he is not afraid, the Democrats are not afraid of the popular outcry against the Democrats right now.
Okay.
Well, you know what? A party saying that they're not...
They would be.
Yeah, I mean, when you got he's admitting that the majority the popular outcry is against what they're doing. They need those popular people to vote for them.
See, now what that tells me, that type of mentality from a politician, what that's telling me is his time is up. It's time for him to go. We need fucking term limits. It shouldn't even be an option for this guy to stay in office. He should be done with his term.
Well, when you run for an office, you should have to resign. If you're in office, you should have to resign because we don't need the sore losers.
If you're not going to be, forget the sore loser. I mean, you can have a job and be upset. I can have a job and I can be upset that I got passed over for a promotion. I can be upset that I didn't get the better parking spot. All that's fine. Those are human emotions. There's nothing wrong with having a human emotion in a situation, whether it's you're pissed off or you're happy about it. Nothing wrong with it. But it's how you portray that in your walks of life. Now, refusing to show up for work because you don't agree with what they're doing. I might not agree with what my boss is doing. I don't agree with him, one of his business moves that he's doing right now. But it's my job to make sure that it's done safely and it follows all the laws and that it's done properly. That's my job. That's what I was hired for. Doesn't matter if I agree with it or not. If I chose not to show up, hey, guess what? I'm on the unemployment line.
Oh.
How come these guys are making six-figure salaries
and don't show up? Yeah.
They can do sit-ins and all the rest of this happy horse shit, and that's perfectly. Oh, that's covered underneath their rights. That's covered underneath this, that, and the other thing.
And freedom of speech, but
okay.
Yet when I do it, it's.
But even with that, there's still limits. I mean, there was a school. Actually, we were kind of talking about it the other night. Off air, with the whole transgender thing and the gender norming and all the rest of it. So there was a school that actually did a walkout on both sides. It was both in favor of and in disagreement to using the bathroom of choice, opposed to, assigned gender. And the administration even said, because the students did, well, this is my rights. These are my rights. You can't threat my rights. And the school turned around and said, you're absolutely right. You guys can do the walkout. You have 2 hours. If you are not in your class in 2 hours, you will get incompletes, and you do face detention and/or suspension, depending on how much longer you decide to stay out. Because at a certain point, it is disruptive and it is non-productive. So they weren't saying they couldn't do it. They're just saying that there will be consequences for you to continue this past a certain point. Kudos to that school. I think that was the absolute right move to do.
I don't know. It's just
because they put a limit on it. They're not saying that you can't do it, but at the same time, they're saying there's a limit. You can voice your dissension, but at a certain point, enough's enough. Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. I mean, as a teacher, you know what? You're not showing up for my class. As far as I'm concerned, you get a fucking incomplete. I don't care what your reasoning is. You made a conscious choice. You made a conscious decision to not come in. If that was my period and I had a lesson planned for you, and now that's going to throw up everything that I had planned, I shouldn't be paying for your choices.
Huh?
Protest after school. I have the same problem with people that go on strike. Like when the school teachers go on strike, yes, they should have a contract. I absolutely agree. But when my kid can't go to school on time because of your strike, and now I'm losing money because I'm having to stay home or pay somebody to watch my kids because of your decisions, that's not fair to me. What did I do to cause this? Not a fucking thing. So you do have freedom of speech. You do have freedom of expression. What you don't have is the right to drop your burden and bag of crap on top of me to clean up because you want to throw a fucking temper tantrum because you didn't get your goddamn way. I don't let my fucking kids get away with it. What the hell makes anybody think an adult has the right to get away with it? That was my rant. Sorry.
I have the same thing. My child would not get away with half the stuff these so-called mature adult politicians are getting away with.
Well, there's nothing mature about these politicians. Not a thing. Well, okay. I can't say that. There are some mature actions. There are some mature politicians. I'm not going to group them all together. However, for the most part, I don't see it. My opinion.
But yeah, it just also let's bring it back to this whole. Well, it's a Muslim ban because they keep going to that. Nowhere in there.
They're not banning anybody. You could be a Christian from one of those countries. You could be Jewish from one of those countries.
There's been Christians turned back.
The fact of the matter is, the countries were banned. I mean, the ban was put in place as a temporary ban, pending the vetting process for these countries that have, there is known evidence of them supporting terrorist activities, which Europe and we are paying for, and there is evidence of them supporting it and even condoning it and training people in it and everything else. These are terrorist countries. Why shouldn't we have a ban? Why shouldn't we be looking at these people more stringently? I mean, Christ, ISIS and ISIL or whatever, I mean, they've come out and flat out said we're going to use the immigration system to infiltrate. We're going to use the refugees to infiltrate. They have flat out said this. What is that, fake news? They admitted to it, and it's nothing new. This has been in the media now ever since all this crap started. There's been a massive rise in sexual assaults, in assault and battery, in robbery, in all these European nations that have taken all these people in. Germany had this whole progressive, we'll bring in everybody, and then all of a sudden realized, whoops, bad idea. And then they had to do a massive backpedal. I don't remember, that was barely covered when she finally got her head out of her ass and realized that it was fucked up. It's asinine what all these people think is possible. I mean, we've got our own citizens that don't have health care because they can't afford it. Oh, and yeah, now they're going to get billed for it. They don't have housing. They don't have food. They don't have warm clothes or dry clothes to wear. They're homeless. Adults, kids, elderly, vets, non-service members. It's across the board. U.S. citizens, we've had that problem for a long-ass time. Yet all the bleeding hearts are for the countries overseas that don't give a shit about their people. Yeah, I think that sucks. Yeah, those people are born into a society that doesn't give a shit about them. That sucks. Do I think they should have an option to better themselves? Yeah, sure I do. But not at the expense of my family. Because guess what? I have the same goddamn rights. Why are their rights trumping my rights? That's what I'd like an answer to.
And they don't get the idea that your rights end when it interferes with my rights and vice versa. Basically.
Hey, you want to move on to something else? You want to keep beating this horse to death?
Yeah, keep on going. If you got a point to make it.
No, I've been pretty much beating on the whole immigration thing. I don't really know where else to go. I mean, it's.
Well, we can go on from here. I mean, we always got Trump firing the acting attorney general.
Attorney in general, yeah. You know what? That one, I don't know a whole lot about that. I'm sure you know a lot more about that than I do. But the baseline that I know about that was she essentially turned around and issued orders to the Justice Department to not follow his executive order. Trump said, this is what we're going to do. Well, hey, guess what?
Which the Department of Justice looked at it and said it is legal.
We're not going to do it. This is unconstitutional. It's illegal. I don't agree with it. We're not going to do it. So he, that's a position that he appoints somebody to. That's within his purview. Right? Now, she was a leftover from the Obama administration.
This was a setup.
His guys are getting confirmed. So, well, instead of, you know what? I think what pisses most people off about Trump is they don't know how to handle the guy. And that's on both sides. That's both Democrats and Republicans. They don't know how to handle the guy. They're not used to dealing with something like this. He's not playing the political BS. I mean, he is essentially taking, okay, fine, you're not going to do your job, I'm firing you. Now, they're saying that he fired her because she was following the Constitution. He fired her because she was doing the right thing. No, she wasn't. First of all, why all of a sudden are the liberals so concerned with following the Constitution? They haven't given a shit about that document for 8 years. They trampled all over it. They tried to rewrite it. For 8 years, they've been pulling this crap. And any time
real quick,
right points that out.
Shit, you just remind me of something. They're sitting there bitching. They're sitting there bitching, saying that the Attorney General is not the lawyer for the president. It is not his personal lawyer. Wait a minute. I remember Holder giving a press conference and Trump, and they're saying that the Attorney General is the attorney for the president. But now the Democrats don't want that. It was okay when Eric Holder played bitch boy to Obama, but now they want an attorney general that stands up, which isn't their job first place. Their job is to enforce the goddamn law that is written.
Yeah, the attorney general is in charge of our legal system. They're essentially, that's the top person in the legal system, running the Justice Department, essentially. Their job is to enforce the laws that are there. Can they give an interpretation? Sure, everybody can. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. Okay. However, a legal interpretation, the actual interpretation, that comes from the courts. Okay, that can come in the form of a memorandum from a president. A sitting president can issue, okay, well, this is what I believe was meant by this, or when I issued this, this was my intention behind this. That's all fine. But the fact of the matter is, even if, with all that aside, there was nothing illegal in the order. It is in the code. It is in the U.S. code. He has the right. He doesn't even have to do a fucking. All he has to say is it's not in the best interest of the American people for immigration, for immigrants to be coming in at this point from these areas or from anywhere. That's all he has to say. All he has to say is it's not in the best interest. In my opinion, it's not in the best interest. That's what makes it legal, because that's what the law provides him. It's a very, very broad-stroking pen, but it is legal. She was grandstanding.
Yeah.
Now,
she was out to make a
irony
political point. That's all it was.
Now, the fucking irony is Obama did the exact opposite, and the Democrats were applauding it.
Yep.
Obama was living by the executive orders, issuing the executive orders, and a good number of his were unconstitutional. I mean, he did do stuff that was unconstitutional. But anytime you were pressed on, it's, oh, you're a bigot, oh, you're a racist, oh, you're this, oh, you're that. No, the guy is breaking the freaking law. This is not right. But you're not allowed to, you were never, everybody's told to shut up about it. And the attorney general was his lapdog. And now they're pissed because it's not going their way. And honestly, I think they're fucking scared to death. They had, like I said before, both sides of the aisle don't know how to deal with Trump. Now, if they want to do the attacks about him being, unqualified, his cabinet is unqualified, they don't have the political know-how and everything else, hey, that's okay, that's fine. Because you know what? They don't. But they get the best people to do the jobs that they can. You know what? And maybe the country needs to be run. It needs to have some people in power that are on the other side of it, that are not career politicians. I don't think that's a bad thing. Because it's looking at it from a different lens. It's breathing fresh life into it. I think that's a fucking good thing. Now, and I think what truly scares the Democrats is, oh, this was in the bag. It was in the bag. We're getting the presidency again. We got Clinton. We got this. As far as it was a no-brainer. There was no way in hell they were not getting the White House. I mean, to the point where they were arrogant about it. And they were all pissed off. The Democrats got all agitated, 2014, 15? With different judiciary appointees, and Republicans were filibustering. So they got all cranky about it, and they instituted the nuclear option. They removed the filibuster. They removed that ability.
Oh, now they're crying about it.
The Democrats had the majority at the time. So all they had to do is they no longer needed the supermajority. They just needed the majority. They needed one extra vote. Not a percentage, just one. That's all they needed. So they did the nuclear option. They removed the Republicans' ability to that part of, essentially that rule in the Senate that had been there for a long time, and they removed it. Okay, fine. Well, hey, you know what? That's in the rules that they can do that. Now, what they didn't think about was the long-reaching effects. That isn't just a one-time thing. That's rewriting the rules until they get removed by, and there's a process for that. It can go back, but it's a little bit of a process. So either that has to happen, or they have to live with it.
Well, that's the thing.
They were so upset that they had this in the bag they weren't worried about it because they were going to have the presidency. They were going to still be they were still going to be controlling everything. Then Scalia dies. Well, Supreme Court was 4-4 with one swing vote, right? Is that correct?
Pretty much.
You had four liberals, 4 conservatives, and I can't remember the one guy, but he's essentially considered the swing vote. So
he's a swinger.
He
goes both ways.
I'm trying not to go there. So if they could get their guy in last year, then the Democrats would hold the majority in the Supreme Court for the foreseeable future, because Supreme Court judges are life terms. That's it. You're appointed.
Oh,
that's it.
Real quick,
okay.
You just reminded me. There was a liberal. She went off on the hinges today on Fox because he's 49 years old. That's not right. He'll be there for 40, 50 years. And the announcer turned around and said, that's being discriminatory. You're discriminating against him because he's 49 years old. Oh, the woman just sat there like, shit. And she got...
Mm-hmm. They don't like you. They don't like it when the tables get turned. But you're absolutely right. That's a lifetime term.
Mm-hmm.
So if they got their guy in, then it would take 2 judges, and they would have to be liberals resigning. I mean, either leaving for either health or personal, whatever. They would have to choose to leave. Okay, and they would have to be liberals in order for it to go back to a balance, or for the conservatives to gain control. Now, the funny thing is, so now they're all pissed because they didn't get their guy. They're throwing temper tantrums about Trump's guy for 2 reasons. One, they didn't get their guy, so they're pissed that now a conservative is going to get appointed. And they obviously don't want that. They're also pissed because of who it is. The guy is a very staunch conservative. I mean, he is a 49-year-old Scalia. Now, the irony behind this is I think that that's absolutely perfect, because that actually maintains the balance in our Supreme Court. We maintain a 4-4. Okay? Neither side, I've said this before, I don't agree with either side having absolute power, because then you're removing the checks and the balances. Having a 4-4 panel with one swing vote, I think is the best. I think that is the best way for the Supreme Court. So by replacing a very staunch conservative with another one, I think is the best move. That's my personal opinion. Now, the only way that can happen would be we had to get the election, because Obama was putting in an extreme liberal, and everybody knew it. And that's exactly who his nominee was. So now they're going to do everything they can to try to stop, what's his name, Grosh? I'm not sure how to say the gentleman's last name. But,
Gorsuch.
Yeah. But they're all scared because right now, the only thing that can get filibustered is Supreme Court. However, the Republicans can use the nuclear option to remove that, and they get their guy, Daniel, immediately. So now the Democrats are even more scared, because they changed the rules to suit them, figuring that they would always maintain control. They don't have control. Now they have to live by the rules that they enforced on others. Now it bothers them, and they want it changed back. That's not the way it fucking works. And honestly, they probably would have realized that if they had actually had to go into the Obamacare system the same as they forced everybody else to. It kind of sucks having to live by your own crap-ass rules because you wrote a crappy rule. But hey, guess what? The rest of America has to live by it. Why shouldn't you? What makes them so fucking special? Other than their own overinflated egos and paychecks. I mean, other than that, what makes them so special? I don't know. But I think I like Trump's pick. I think he's a bit. I'm not going to say I agree with all of his stances on everything, because I'm not all the way conservative on some of the hot topic items.
Well, their big issue with that judge is because he did the ruling on the Hobby Lobby and the saying that the they had a right, corporations do have a right to have a religious purpose, and if they don't want to offer certain types of birth control, they were still offering some. They had some objections to some that they had a right. He's the judge.
But that wasn't. But if I remember correctly, even with that ruling, it wasn't all corporations. It was privately owned corporations. Like if you owned a company like Hobby Lobby, it's owned by a family. That's it. It's owned by this one family who has very strong religious beliefs. Okay, fine. It applies to that. Now, if you've got a company that's got shareholders and there's 20, 30 people in charge of the company, I don't believe it applied to those because that's a different type of company. There's different types of companies. There's not just one type. There are multiples of types of company formations. Everything from one person being in charge to dozens of people being in charge to a company being in charge of another company. It's all over the fucking map. And anybody that's ever tried to start a business knows how much of a migraine even figuring that part out can be. Freaking ridiculous. So it wasn't even an across-the-board thing. I mean, those rulings were fairly narrow. And I never disagreed with those rulings. Do I believe that women have a right to contraceptives? Yes, I do. Do I agree with a woman's right to choose? Yes, I do. To a degree. I don't believe that abortion should be a form of birth control. That I don't agree with. I think that's just lunacy. But there are medical reasons to have one. And I agree with that. I also agree that a Catholic organization or a Catholic company should not be forced to go against their religious beliefs. I mean, Christ, we're upholding everybody else's religious beliefs.
Hell, we're bowing down to Muslims. Getting fucking hit just so we don't offend them.
What was it? Last summer? There was some point last year. I want to say it was like in one of the spring, summertime. There was a case out of I believe it was California. A woman showed up at the airport. She was some type of executive with, I can't even remember the company, and I wouldn't use the name anyway, but, with a big company. And she had to go to their facility in Texas. And she gets there, she checks in, and the agent tells her, ma'am, we had to move your seat. She's like, I'm sorry, what? I paid for that seat. Well, we had to put you in a different seat. We have one available. She's like, but that's not my seat. Why am I being moved? And he hemmed and hawed about it, and then finally said, well, the seats that would have been next to you, it was two devout Muslims, and they cannot look at or talk to another woman. They can't be that close to one. So we have to move your seat to make them comfortable. And she got pissed. She got on the flight anyway. She had a job to do. She went and did her job. But she did write a letter. She did voice her opinion on how unfair that was, on the fact that she was she was essentially persecuted for being a fucking woman. She was told that because of your gender and you're not covering yourself up to their likings, you have to move. You're a second-class citizen in your own country. They get to keep their seats. They didn't have to get moved. They didn't want to. So what happens to the flight crew now? What if it was a female pilot?
I know.
What if all the stewards were females or homosexual? Does that mean they wouldn't have eaten or drank anything that entire flight? What happens if a mom was breastfeeding? Would she have been decapitated mid-flight? I know that's extreme. I mean, I know that's very, very extreme, and I might have been crossing a line. But honestly, at this point, I am so sick and tired of this politically correct bullshit. I am so sick and tired of being told that I have to bow down to them. You want to know why I don't give a crap? Go look at the newsreels from 15-plus years ago. There's your fucking reasons why I don't give a rat's ass.
We're supposed to worry about offending
is not against them as a person or anything else. This is against the ideology. I mean, that's in our own country. A woman, a career woman, a professional woman who has earned her way in life is being told that she is second class in her own country because somebody from another country comes over here and says we have a problem with this. I'm sorry. Where is that written that that's right? I mean, if I'd been on that flight, I mean, if they had told that to my kid or to my wife, oh, it would not have ended well. I can guarantee you I'd be on the no-fly list, which also means I'd be on the no-buy list, which I might be already. I don't know. But that's bullshit. If you don't like the stuff in this country, fine. Go back to your country. You think it's all so fucking great? Go back there. Obviously, you don't think it's that great. Fact of the matter is, you want to impose your will on everybody else. That's not assimilating. That's not peace.
Invading.
And they want to keep doing this. They want to keep doing this whole, well, it's peace for everybody. Peace, love. I mean, Christ, the freaking idiot that organized that women's march. I mean, her opening thing was "Assalamu alaikum, peace be on you all."
Oh, she's under she's under major fire right now.
Law.
Yeah, well, she also attacked.
She
She verbally attacked several women that are some of the main of the women within the marching women's right group. She attacked them and pretty much said that she wanted to take their vaginas away from them. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. And it's like, holy shit, she just dug herself a grave. Not literally, figuratively. It's, oh my God.
Good. Because in all honesty, I mean, I know there's been a lot of women that did already speak out against that whole march thing. They said, you know what? You're saying you're speaking for women, but you're not speaking for me. I'm a pro-life woman. I don't agree with Sharia law. I don't agree with this stuff. How come pro-life organizations were barred from the march? Well, we were marching for this. No. It was a women's march. It was for women's rights. Now, by definition, is the right to choose not also a pro-life stance because you're choosing life? So, wouldn't that also be considered a right to choose? Because you're choosing by definition. Oh, shit, I use a definition against them. Damn, no wonder they don't get it. Yeah, and they're saying that, it's complete BS. And actually, there's been polls done, and yes, I know I'm going to be told this is fake news. But they're pushing a narrative that all women across the country are all pro-choice. They are all in favor of this 100% liberation, this 100% equal rights, that they want all this. Yet actual polling has shown amongst women in America that actually when it comes to the topic of abortion, it's closer to a 60-40 or even almost somewhere in the 50-50 range between women who feel that no, abortion is not an option, or yes, I should have the right to choose an abortion. So you're really only representing one half of the argument. That's not a women's march if you're only doing that. And I'm sorry, I got to point out the hypocrisy. How can you be marching for women's rights with pussy hats and pussy costumes and signs saying my vagina bites back, but the whole point is you're protesting a president for the objectification of a woman's vagina? I'm sorry, aren't you objectifying it 5 feet tall by marching around in that ridiculous outfit?
Yeah, but they also had signs up arguing about Trump saying grab them by the pussy as they're dressed as pussies. Everybody's shaking hands.
The point.
Yeah, but the thing is, I wanted to go there. Someone else made the point.
But that's my line.
Yeah.
That's
I'm saying it. And just shake their hand and say, yep, I just grabbed you by the pussy, you dickhead.
Hey, just so everybody knows, I'm the one that coined that one. You got that from me, guys.
It's Jesus.
Motherfucker. Oh. You've barely said 2 words this entire show, and you had to jump in and steal my line. You bastard.
It's...
I've really been on a rant. Jesus. You gotta say something, man.
It's been seriously all week. As much as I've been trying to, it's the stupidity out of the left. I need a little bit of a break, but I mean, everything they're sounding the alarm. Everything is end of the world. And literally today, every time I talked about the Democrats, I would sound a fire alarm. Because that's what it reminds me. Every time Trump speaks, you get that fire alarm. It's the end of the world. Trump said hello to his staff this morning. Oh, my God, it's unconstitutional. It's un-American. How dare he do that? Trump came out.
You know what the funny...
Well, hang on. On Inauguration Day, there's another thing going around. They're saying Trump pushed his way to go in the door first, and Obama stood behind and let Melania and Michelle go in front of him. But they don't show you the rest of that little video is Trump went ahead and opened the doors for the ladies and Obama. It's funny how they only show one half of it. Yeah. That was my insinuation.
Yeah, I couldn't help it. I had to fill that one in. Well, no, but the thing is, that's what they've been doing the whole freaking time. I mean, it's been proven that the whole CNN thing was a hoax. You know, with how many people in there. That's been proven. That was fake. But the funny thing is, most of the fake news, they're yelling about fake news, but most of the fake news has come from the left.
Yeah.
They've been the ones perpetuating it, which is really funny because they're the ones calling out the right for doing it, and they're the ones that keep getting caught doing it. I mean, seriously, how stupid can you get? I mean, like you said, this week, I talked to you last night, and honestly, today wasn't anything better. I was so agitated last night with all this stupidity from the left on a variety of topics. I wanted to punch him back. I was that agitated. I was that tensed up that I wanted to go to the gym and I wanted to use a speed bag. I wanted to release that energy because I was so pissed at all of this bow down to everybody else. Your opinions don't matter. I mean, if I have one more person tell me that you can't be racist against a white guy and you can't be sexist against a male, I'm going to fucking lose my shit. Because racism is the discrimination based on color or origin or nationality. That's racism. It doesn't specify which ones. It's across the board. It's not given exemption. It's for everybody except the white guy. It's against all of them. Sexism is discrimination based on your gender. And they even expanded that to not just be male and female, but to also be, and that's the funny thing, is in the definition it says gender. And then they expanded it to gender identity. Well, honestly, that's a double insult to me. Because I'm being told that because nobody can be sexist for me because I'm a male. Okay, well, I'm a male biologically, but hey, guess what? It's okay, though, because you extended it to what I identify as. Well, I identify as male. Nope, that doesn't work either. But she identifies as male. Well, you can't discriminate against that. Huh? I mean, come on now. I'm all for the equal opportunity employment, but equal opportunity is equal opportunity. So when I lose a job for a civil service position because I had one fewer point because I'm a guy, and the girl had that one extra point because she was a girl and they have to meet a quota, how is that not discriminatory? Because you literally are saying, even in the Equal Opportunity Employment Acts, you are literally saying that a woman is worth more for employment, that a minority is worth more for employment. How is that not? Your anti-discrimination stuff is actually discriminatory. Yet by pointing that out, I'm now what? Sexist, bigot, asshole, all the above? Hey, guess what? It's just going to get worse from here, people. And here's the fucked up thing. Everybody that's probably sitting at home, if they actually have the balls to listen to our show, they're probably cussing me out right now. Why don't you come back in about 10 to 15 years when you grow up, move out of your mama's basement, actually start working for a living, have a family, and then start realizing what's really going on in the fucking world. When you actually open up your eyes. Because I've said it before. 15, 20 years ago, I was on the other side of the aisle. Full-heartedly. And it's been a slow progression over. And the ironic thing is, the biggest moves I've made towards towards being a true conservative has happened in the past few years due to the crap on the right. It's been due to feminists. It's been due to these social justice warrior assholes. It's been due to these types of people. And that mentality has pushed me further than anything else.
And that's it. I keep quoting, I don't like polls and all this, but a study's showing that with the Democrat Party, they're actually losing some numbers because what's happening is you have the moderate Democrats. They're getting tired of the bullshit, and they're actually leaving the party. And the only thing the party's being left with is that extreme alt-left. These progressives that are the violent nut job ones.
The funny thing is, they're progressive and this is the thing I get the biggest kick out of. They keep yelling and screaming equality, yet everything in their rhetoric is against equality.
They want special treatment.
For superiority. They want superiority for whatever cause it is they're marching against. Now, the other irony behind that is their causes change to a degree. Excuse me. Their causes change to a degree over time, which is comical to me. But on top of that, as it's been proven already with a lot of these riots and a lot of these gatherings, I mean, Christ, it happened at the inauguration. They're not all actually that way. A good number of them are paid actors. They're being paid to be there. Hey, guess what? Now here's the funny thing. Guess what that's called, morons? Capitalism. You found something you could sell. You made money off of it.
Do you know who's making the most money? And I thought about it. Me and you have to start our own business up. And we're going to go into sign printing.
Oh, I saw that. Sign printing, yes.
Because think about it. They say all these protests are spontaneity. And they happen just on the spot. But yet they have these hundreds upon hundreds of pre-printed professional signs ready, willing to go. Last night for the nomination of Gorsuch. And they had pre-printed signs with his names on, but they're grassroots.
You know what they're doing? I actually thought about it. Because when I looked into it, there's two people that were the lead contenders for the nomination.
Yeah, but they didn't know until yesterday.
Last night. They didn't know until last night. Well, what else are there two contenders for? Happens a couple times a year, and we don't know who's going to win until the very end. Stanley Cup championship, the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Dean. No one even knew who those two finalists were until yesterday when they both showed up in Washington, D.C. That's the only time they started saying, shit, these are the two finalists because they both showed up in Washington, D.C. So that means they still had to get printed signs done in a rush.
But that's even better.
Capitalism.
Instead of a couple of days or a week, you've got hours to get this done. I mean, imagine
the
premium we could charge for that.
That's my point. The premium, the rush job we could charge for it would be astronomical.
And you know what? We'd have to name the company something like we couldn't use Trump's actual name because I know he's got that like copyrighted out the yin yang. But something like something conservative, and we stamp at the bottom of every single one of them. Brought to you by
the Trump.
Something like that.
Thumping Trump.
Subliminal F you.
Well, if you look at most of the bottom of the signs, it's sponsored by the Socialist Party or the Communist Party.
Forget all that. You know what? They want to do all that. We put at the bottom of every single one of them when they pick them up. Hashtag, he's our president. We're stupid. That's the other one that chaps my ass. They want to keep yelling and screaming he's not their president. Well, hey, guess what, moron? He is. If you're a U.S. citizen, he is your president.
They can say all they want. It don't mean diddly.
But the funny thing is, and you know what, here's the thing I really get a kick out of. A good number of these people, and I'm not trying to be an asshole.
But you are.
Not my president, not my president, not my president. Well, that president that you're disavowing is responsible for pretty much all the benefit systems. So if he's not your president and you're on any type of government assistance, I fully expect you to turn that shit in. Because if he's not your president, why should you be benefiting off of him? Oh, and actually, that brings up another point, and I put a freaking post on Facebook about that shit. For all these freaking morons, primarily celebrities or so-called celebrities, that are now calling for let's shut down Hollywood until Trump resigns or until he's out of office. Hey, guess what, assholes? You said you were going to leave the country if you got elected. One of you was stupid enough to say if a Republican gets nominated, I'm going to leave the country.
What was the best? If a Republican gets nominated, I'm leaving the country.
You know what? You guys have made these statements numerous times already, and every single time it hasn't gone your way. You've had to recant, or you've had to duck into the shadows.
Oh, it was an emotional response, or the famous, I was joking.
Every fucking time you guys have done this, you know what? I'm calling bullshit for bullshit. They're doing it just to get your goddamn names back in the media to feel important again. Nobody gives a shit what you think. You are there, as one person put, you are there to entertain me. Because if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have a fucking... Go ahead, shut down Hollywood. Fine. Where are you getting your money from, moron? That's where you get your freaking money from. So, first of all, you're not that fucking stupid. Well, actually, I really hope you are that stupid, in all honesty. Second of all, shit it off the fucking pot.
I know. Well, we're gonna boycott movies. We're not gonna make movies till he's out of office. Good.
You know what? You can go ahead and say that all you want, because guess what the rest of us could say?
Hey, guess what? You'll have a bunch of scabs stepping up.
You can make a movie 10 years from now. I ain't fucking paying to watch it. How's that? How you like them apples? Idiot. That's what was that?
What sucks is I like the Marvel movies, but now I will not watch them anymore, especially after Josh Whedon called Melania Trump a dog.
Wait. What happened with the Marvel movies?
Josh Whedon, the director, writer, he called Melania Trump a dog the other day. All the actors have been standing up against Trump, speaking out Trump. They've been doing PSAs the whole election for Hillary Clinton.
Well, now, see, the PSAs, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about the PSAs. I mean, one, I think it's completely stupid that they're involved in them. But on the flip side, they're doing it to make money. I mean, so couldn't that also just be considered acting? I mean, just the same as saying, like, Tom Cruise is not a Nazi, yet he played one in Valkyrie. But he's actually not a Nazi. So, I mean, that argument could get made. I'm really not sure anybody would buy it. Honestly, I'm making that argument. I'm not even buying it. But I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. It's taking a lot to not be in the process, actually.
No, but you got to go on their Twitter feeds, too, because their mouths are still going to this day. Yeah, it's not just the PSA. They're still...
But, fuck. Are you serious? The Marvel movie? There's a new Avengers coming out.
I know. I would not be surprised that it bombs.
All right, well, I'll just have to wait until it's free on Amazon or something, though.
Well, you're still technically paying for it at that point.
Yeah, but I'm also paying for all the conservative shows that I watch even more of.
Well, just like when you get married, technically you're still paying for sex.
Yeah, no shit. It's cheaper to fucking hire a goddamn prostitute.
Wait a minute. Let me look around and make sure my wife's not around to smack me upside the head. Sad part is... Uh-oh. Shit. Ducking.
Huh?
Ducking. Thought I heard my wife. The alarm went off. It's... I'm not calling for boycotts. Me, personally, I'm not going to spend my money with those jackasses. If that's how they want to be, that's their right. I'm just not going to bother with it.
This is the way I look at it. Honestly, this is the way I look at it. I don't give a shit about the political views. They are there to entertain me. That's what they're there for. Now, if I find the storyline, or if it's something that, from an entertainment value, like the new Avengers movie, or a new Star Wars movie, or something like that, or a new whatever. I mean, something I truly want to see, and it's worth for the entertainment value for me to spend the $5. Yeah, I probably still will. Am I going to go out of my way to try to get to any of this shit? Am I going to go on an opening night? Am I going to spend buku bucks for it? No, fuck that shit. I don't do that now anyway, so really that's not changing much of my lifestyle. They're there to entertain us, and that's what they seem to forget. We don't care about their political views. I mean, personally, I don't.
Me neither.
You know? I mean, if you want to talk about a celebrity whose viewpoints I actually do have something in line with, and you might hate me for saying this, however,
asshole,
I'm going to go with Toby Keith.
You're going to go to Toby Keith.
I'm going to go with Toby Keith. I'm going to go with a country music singer.
That's it. Mute. We don't talk about country music unless it's half-naked women.
Well, we don't talk about country music. However, I mean, what do you know about Toby Keith, in all honesty? I don't know a whole lot about him.
Yeah, he does have some good music. But go ahead with your point, because we only got 2 minutes.
Forget that. On the show?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, yeah.
We didn't even do a break.
Music. He's got some very patriotic songs, which I do enjoy. However, one of my favorite things about him is the guy goes overseas almost religiously to support our troops. He does numerous USO shows, and I know other artists do too. I'm not trying to make light of them. Okay? The guy does tons of benefits for Veterans Affairs. I mean, he is an extreme supporter of our armed forces. And he writes songs about them. He supports them. He goes overseas. I mean, he's done live concerts in the States. And if he catches wind that a service member is coming back, even if he has to do some help to get him to the concert on time, and his significant other is there, he does a surprise meeting with them. He's pulled spouses up on stage to have them sing a song with him, and their husband comes walking out from behind the stage for the reunion. I mean, I'm sorry. That's the type of guy I'll support, and that's the type of celebrity I'll spend extra money for. Somebody who's actually supporting this country rather than trying to tear it apart from the inside out like fucking cancer. I'd rather find a cure for cancer. Just my personal opinion. And Christ, I really ranted for an hour?
Yes, you did.
Might be like a new record. Sorry about that, everybody.
Well, that's going to be the end of the show.
We didn't even get through half of it.
Hell no.
Continuation next week.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Duh. All right. You've been listening to that Southside Mutts show with the Jersey Boys.
Mostly
Jersey Joe would crash. And up next is Ken the Conservative, and followed by at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you'll have the Sackheads radio show. And I'll be back tomorrow with the...
Seconds?
What?
Can I have 5 seconds on air?
Go.
I know I've made some jokes in the past about the other guys on these radio stations. Ken the Conservative. Sorry, what's the blind guy? Shit. Forgot his first name.
Dave.
Dave the blind guy, and about the Sackhead. I was doing it in jest. Wasn't trying to actually... It was never anything actually against them. Okay? They actually are very good guys, phenomenal shows, and great human beings. I'm just an asshole to everybody, just because I can be. So
I trained you well, Padawan. We got to go.
Fuck you, you fat fuck, motherfucker.
All right, remember, I'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Reaver of Common Sense. Crap, I don't have the outro. Damn it. I need a free producer, slave labor. Peace. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.